former RMT Assistant General Secretary Steve Hedley, who often joins us on the programme to talk about train strikes. A very good morning to you, Steve. Has there been any progress since you and I last spoke months ago?
No, I don't think there has. I don't think there's been any further offers on the table, and the conditions that there are going to have to be changes in terms and conditions and loss of jobs are still demanded by the government through the companies. So I don't see any prospect of a strike being settled.
So, Steve, what would get a breakthrough to help end this? Because we're in a situation now where the train network is in a very different position post-pandemic. There simply aren't as many passengers returning to work, paying for those expensive season tickets, about 40% volume down. The government is still the biggest investor, 62%, pumping money in. So it's very, very heavily supported by the government already. How much money are you guys looking for, and how much would that cost?
Well, it wouldn't actually cost anything, because the money that the government is pumping in is being quickly pumped back out to shareholders. Hundreds of millions of pounds, in fact billions of pounds over the period, last few years over the pandemic period, which is ridiculous, because for a lot of time there was only a skeleton service running, but that money still went in, and it went out to shareholders of these private companies. If that money was then taken and given to the workers who are actually running the job, the strike would be over. That would pay entirely for the strike. So it wouldn't be another massive amount of money that would need to go in. It would just be better use of the money that was in there already.
I mean, these endless strikes are getting everybody down who wants to be able to use the trains. But from the people that you're speaking to, the people you know well, what is morale like amongst the people who are actually on strike? I mean, how much longer can they go on striking?
Well, the thing is that they're prepared to go on. I mean, the strikes, I have to say, the way the strikes have been called is not. I don't think it's been an effective strategy. Having a few days a month or a few days every couple of months is not being effective. But people are absolutely incandescent that when they've had a 3-year pay freeze, inflation's rampant, and that they're being expected to take a real terms pay cut and pay for that real terms pay cut with their jobs and conditions. So they're not going to give in. They're not going to accept anything that's on the table at the minute. And
Steve,
until that's they're prepared to go on strike.
What is it about the train drivers and the train unions that's different from the fact that police, for example, they've accepted a pay deal, teachers have accepted a pay deal, fire workers have, civil servants have, doctors have? How much of this, Steve, is actually about pay, and how much is about politics? You know, old socialists like yourself wanting to cause maximum damage to the Conservative government.
Oh, that is really ridiculous. I mean, when people are offered, when inflation over the past 2 years is top 20%, and people are getting offered a 9% pay rise, it's 11, nearly 12% real terms pay cut. Do you really think people are going out over socialism when their pay and the amount of money that they can spend every week has gone down real terms by about 20%? That, you know, it's just. I know you just dredge these things up every now and again, but people don't go on strike for that. I wish they did. I really wish they did.
There we go. So you want there to be sort of 1970s style strikes, do you, Steve?
Well, if that's a soundbite that you want to take out of that, but that's not why thousands of people go on strike. I wish we had 80,000 socialists in the RMT, but you don't. Well, so if you want that soundbite, so you can put it in your little bit of thing after your little soundbite after Steve, this is finished. Go ahead.
Steve, I'm simply trying to ascertain.
No, you're trying to take something completely out of context.
No, I'm not.
I've explained that that's not why people are on strike.
Steve,
I'm not even employed there anymore. Yes, I'm a socialist. You're absolutely right. I'm a socialist. I wish we had 80,000 socialists in the RMT, but we don't.
Okay. I'm simply trying to ascertain, Steve, what it is about.
No, you're not. You're trying to be clever, and you've not got the word.
No, Steve. I'm simply trying to ascertain why the police union.
Yeah. We've got 80,000 mad revolutionaries in the RMT who want to go out at every possible reason to overthrow the government. Go on, take that one. Have that as your little soundbite. Take that out of context.
Steve, I'm not trying to get a soundbite. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the fact why the rail unions think they're different to the other ones who have accepted pay deals.
Well, personally, as a socialist, you're absolutely right. As a socialist, I think every working class person should have a massive pay rise in line with inflation. Because it wouldn't really be an absolutely massive pay rise, it would just keep pace with inflation. The reason other unions took ridiculous pay deals, I don't know. I think those leaderships of those unions are weak. I think that those members, had they had a choice, would have probably voted against that, were pressured into it. Police, by the way, can't go on strike. You mentioned the police. I would have thought you would have known that. The police can't actually go on strike. And what they're trying to bring in now with the government is trying to bring in services, minimum services, that will prevent a lot of rail workers and a lot of public sector workers going on strike. So that's the reason that the police don't go on strike. They're not allowed to go on strike.
What would you say to the notion that the rail service is an essential part of operating in Britain and moving towards a police-style system where the trains aren't allowed to strike either?
Well, that's another ridiculous idea. I mean, if people do that, then workers will have to take things into their own hand and go out unofficially, like they do in France.
What about the pragmatic argument, though, simply that you can go on striking, and the RMT's been striking for a long time now, but you're just not going to get exactly what you want, so you've got to sit down and compromise, haven't you?
Well, the thing is this, look, it's not just about money, it's about thousands of jobs that are going to go. It's about the closure of every ticket office in Britain, potentially. All these things are on the table. It's about thousands of jobs going, and then the people left behind having to pick up the overtime to do the jobs that have gone, because they're going to have to do more weekends, they're going to have to do more night shifts. The work-life balance is going to be destroyed. So, I mean, it's not just about money, it's a lot more than money at stake, and I think that's what's making people so determined that they're going to keep going.
Well, look, we'll leave it there. We don't want to get into nasty arguments. We really don't, actually.
You really want to change your other presenter. You're all right, Dan, but that guy now.
You have to be able to take it, Steve. You can give it. You've got to be able to take it, mate.
Look, I can take it, but it's just too early in the morning for ridiculous questions, isn't it, really? But you've got your soundbite. You can now say we're all
No, we're not the soundbite types either. We're really not. Look, the main thing is that we're all finishing smiling at the moment. Let's just capture that moment and leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.